As advanced and futuristic as we all like to think we are, when you take a broader look at the history of the human race and our past accomplishments, you begin to develop a much different perspective of our civilization today. We are operating within a constricted mindset in these modern times. There are people out there in our world today that are breaking the mold and attempting to encourage their human family to see ourselves and the condition of our society from a deeper level of awareness and understanding of how we arrived at this point in time, and where we're headed if the larger problems that we face as a society aren't confronted. Ultimately, this is about progressing and enlightening the consciousness of humanity. It's time for us to wake up to our collective reality on this planet and shatter the paradigms that shape our current oppressive society. We are destined as individuals and as a species to unlock and develop our full potential. If the information I'm about to share with you is news to you, I would say it's definitely the news of the century, and it remains untouched by the mainstream media. I'm sure you'll see exactly why. I'll be reading from an article that I have posted on my blog, The Path to Life. A secret journal was released by a man with information about elitist organizations and the New World Order. This journal documents that the Illuminati already knows what's going to happen for World War III. It's already mapped out. The agenda is already set in place. The journal that exposes this plan was written by a man named William Carr. He was born in 1895. Carr entered into Canada's Navy at a very young age and ascended to the position of commander. He knew many people at the top of their fields in politics, law, and academia. His hobby was writing, specifically writing about the New World Order. His books documented the extent at which the Illuminati had taken over every aspect of society, including churches. In fact, he claimed to have received an SOS letter from a high-ranking official in the Roman Catholic Church in November 1958. The letter outlined a hostile takeover that was already underway at the Vatican. Carr would die less than a year after receiving this message. He also documented the history behind the most elusive organization in world history, the Illuminati, and their religion, which is Luciferianism. He believed that modern organizations like the Bilderberg Group and the Council on Foreign Relations are Luciferian political organizations. He also believed that the chief governing body for Lucifer in the ascension of the capstone was the United Nations. He documented all this in his books. Carr wrote several books. His most controversial book was published after his death. It's titled Satan, Prince of This World, and is really nothing more than his personal diary and notes that he saved for many years. In this book, Carr documents receiving the SOS letter from the high-ranking Vatican official, but he also documents other interesting things. For example, Carr believed that secret societies weren't working independently of one another, but they were controlled by a top-level organization called the World Revolutionary Movement. This top-tier organization is interested in inciting war, terrorism, and distress to serve its fundamental interest, which is to establish a new world order, a Luciferian system of governments and religion. He speaks in length about a World War III in his book. He documents that World War III was planned by a 33rd degree Grand Wizard named Albert Pike. This man was a notorious Luciferian who openly praised Lucifer in his book Morals and Dogma. Pike was also a general for the Confederacy during the Civil War, and a wizard of occult magic and summoning and channeling spirits. Here's a statue of Albert Pike in downtown Washington, D.C. William Carr documented that Pike wrote a letter to a friend in 1871, outlining the final and the largest of the wars. According to Carr, what Albert Pike actually wrote wasn't just a letter. It was a blueprint that spelled out exactly what would happen during the last war. Carr said in the 1860s Albert Pike was recorded as saying his military program might take 100 years or a little longer to reach the day when those who direct the conspiracy at the top will crown their leader the king despot of the entire world and impose a Luciferian totalitarian dictatorship upon what is left of the human race. Pike seems to indicate a conspiracy to start a war so that the Antichrist can ascend to his position as world ruler. Pike's letter ironically detailed the specifics of the first two world wars with stunning accuracy, suggesting that he knew beforehand the details surrounding each war. You don't have to believe in the Antichrist to, take in this information. I'm not saying that I believe in the Antichrist or the Christian narrative, but as you can see, there are people in this world with big plans that do believe in just that. World War I would be to overthrow the Tsars of Russia and turn Russia into a communist state. The Second World War would be fought for two reasons: to establish the State of Israel and to expand the communist control of Europe. The Third World War would be what allows the Novus Ordo Seclorum to rise out of the ashes. According to Pike, Islam will be the deciding factor in the downfall of the West. Islam will be decimated in the process, allowing for the religion of pure Luciferianism to spread on the earth. All Muslims will fall for this system. There isn't a single Muslim on earth that will not partake in the religion of the New World Order, according to Pike. Islam is merely a tool to destroy the Christian West. That's what he said over 100 years ago. This master plan to use Islam was kicked off in 2001 when the fear of Americans was taken advantage of by an esoteric cabal lurking in the shadows. In his inaugural address, George W. Bush claimed that an angel would ride the whirlwind and direct the storm. The storm that would come and the angel that would bring it were long-awaited prophetic fulfillments. As Albert Pike, Grand Wizard of the Craft, predicted, Islam would be the choice religion to use to foment a crisis between it and the West that would only get worse. This is why we see Islam behind nearly every terror attack that is broadcasted by the mainstream media. This was planned over 100 years ago. The esoteric cabal is using Islam to achieve the great work. It's all mapped out. We've seen what they're doing with the migrant crisis and what they've done in England with the Sharia courts, and on and on. They're using Islam to stir the pot. The current system has to come down and be toppled. Islam will be used for the ultimate goal. They've known about this since at least the early 1800s, and even earlier than that, I think. I left a link to a PDF version of William Carr's book, Satan, Prince of This World, in this video's description. The only thing I can ask is that you do your part in spreading this information with anyone and everyone. Be sure to leave a comment and tell me what you think. If you find this video valuable, I hope you'll share it, and hit the subscribe button to get notifications for my future uploads. Thank you for watching. Together, we are the 99%. Peace.